did you know the construction sector is one of the world's largest emitter of greenhouse gases? At least that's a program. Their study found that the construction sector is responsible for 37% of global emissions in 2022, highlighting the urgent need for a more sustainable approach to building. Here we champion innovative solutions that aim Today, we put the spotlight on the next generation of innovators. She's on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list, a Tatler Gen T future leader, a certified Verde professional, and she's changing the face of construction in the Philippines. Welcome to The Big Story, Zahra Zanjani, CEO and founder of CUBO Modular, the country's #1 prefab tiny house.
Thank you for having me. Yes, it's long.
Tiny house talaga?
Tiny house. So you don't.
What's the tiniest?
Tiniest right now is at 15 square meters. That starts at 599,000 for the house kit. Yeah.
No hidden charges?
So of course it depends on the location. So the farther it is, we're built with many islands. So the harder it is to get to. But it's at minimal cost comparing it to traditional construction where you have to ship multiple trucks just to fulfill one house. As compared to us, it's, everything is in one go.
But Zahra, how did it all begin? What inspired you to do modular houses?
Okay, so me personally, I was experienced with the construction industry, like coming fresh out of college. I was exposed to it, and I noticed how traditional it's always been. So it's one thing is it's male-led. So I love having women.
You have a lot of women in your company, no?
Yes.
How many percent?
Our management is actually majority women. But of course, our workforce in terms of the skills and the carpenters and all the other skill sets, of course, are mostly men. So maybe in the future.
So what inspired you was to change the way things are done?
Definitely.
Traditionally.
So it was also my previous co-founder who also was inspired by the traditional Bahay Kubo. So the Bahay Kubo is actually one of the first modular or prefab units because the artisans build it off-site and then they get, of course, the raw materials and then they bring it into their, whether that's, their own workshop, and then they deliver it by component to the location. So it's taking the same concept and doing off-site construction and delivering it assembled. And of course, the concept of bayanihan where you get...
carry the whole thing.
Yes, you carry the whole thing, or you actually get the whole community involved to put together one home for one family.
So how does this system reduce the impact on the environment compared to the traditional way of just building on-site, hollow blocks, etc.?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So for on-site construction, which is what we normally do with concrete and steel, one major difference is when you deliver everything in the project site, you're not necessarily sure if 100% of your materials will be used. So about 30% is actually waste because it's off-site, it's on-site where you build it. And you're also volatile to risks in terms of like the weather. So for example, ngayon is tag-ulan. So you're not also sure if your project will continue. As compared to modular, where we build everything in a controlled facility here in Quezon City, and then we assemble it by component and deliver it to the site. So minimal changes. So for example, for one home, like one standard home would take about 6 to 12 months to build on-site. But for us, it takes us about 1 to 3 months with the wait time. But on-site, it takes about 2 weeks to
And
deliver.
they look so beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Maybe we can show some of your
Yes.
samples
Yeah, sure.
over here.
So this is our bestseller. This is our sarangani. So syempre, pag Pinoy, maraming kasama sa bahay. So nandyan si Lola, si Lolo, and then you have your parents and then your kids. So there's a place for everyone, even if we consider it a tiny house.
So this is a model of the largest...
That's actually just our standard, like sarangani, but our biggest is 95 square meters. So not so tiny anymore.
So how big is the standard sarangani in real life? Of course, I'm holding it in the palm of my
So
hand.
in real life, that can actually go to 64 square meters with the loft So 2 lofts and the deck outside. So
Ang ganda.
Ang ganda.
Thank
Magkano
you.
yan?
May pergola pa sa likod.
so that one starts at 2.1 million already. Pero syempre, we can do monthly payments with your bank partners.
You have bank partners.
Yes, definitely.
So they can, you can finance
a
it
loan.
yours.
Yeah, so since we're considered home construction, since we're materials, so we're a manufacturer of these materials, so you can take out a home construction loan, whether it's with our bank partners or your financier of choice, where you can pay monthly, I believe up to 20 or 30 years.
Well, Zahra, you did start this during the pandemic, right? So it's been about 4 or 5 years.
Definitely.
How many units have you sold already?
We're actually nationwide, so we're in about 26 provinces. So that means that our product is truly scalable. Kasi if you're starting out like as a contractor, it's very difficult, most especially if your client is in an island somewhere. So we've delivered from Ilocos Norte to Mindoro, Palawan, Antique up to South Cotabato.
Can I ask about, I noticed, I went through your Facebook page and you have offices, you have gazebos, viewing decks in sports arenas. So a lot of uses, right? But how do the materials hold up in the harsh, I mean, alam mo naman yung panahon dito, init, ulan, lamig, and then salt water kung nasa may bandang beach, which you also have.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in terms of the materials, that's why we like to mix different kinds of materials. But one major material is, of course, our engineered bamboo because it's the most renewable material. And then, of course, we still mix it with the traditional construction materials, but we kind of customize it to become adaptable to the prefab method or method of construction. So in terms of the durability, definitely we've developed like not even every year, siguro every month, we're always trying to do something new, to always improve. And most especially, yung important dyan is customer feedback. So no one is perfect, definitely, but we're definitely in a path to continue development and improvement.
So you have concrete slabs that you bring to site? Are there any concrete slabs in any of your wala?
It would still depend on the homeowner if the foundation that they want is a slab, but we normally just suggest the wall footing or column footing, like a traditional bahay kubo.
Bahay kubo
So
talaga.
it's elevated. So there are many reasons why our bahay kubo at least is elevated because syempre kung may
Kung may
floods.
baha.
Yeah, so that's another thing. But it's actually more for practicality reasons for us because we need the bottom to install, like the plumbing and everything. So, traditional pa rin tayo.
Does it follow then na madali siyang i-repair? Kunyari may tumulo kasi nakaangat na yung bahay on stilts or slabs or poste.
Mas ano, no?
Mahangin.
Exactly. So, some people, they would even elevate it to make it a second floor para magamit rin yung first level as parking, as dirty kitchen, even storage or an extra room. So, others naman taniman. So, it depends on the homeowner. Kaya maganda.
And you use a lot of local materials. Now, how many percent is local and how many is imported? What's the mix?
I would say it would be varied. So we do get a lot of locally manufactured because it's customized. So for one example is our roofing because we use long span and we use different kinds of connections, etc. We customize that and that means it has to be locally manufactured. For the other things, definitely it's still imported. But we still buy it from local suppliers as well. I don't have the
I see a
percentage
swimming
right now.
pool in a house. There is that. I know it's a render.
You can look.
Sorry,
It's the first time we're
I'm the one looking at it.
Yeah.
we're all getting used to
Behind
it.
you are all these beautiful pictures.
Okay.
Can you put a swimming pool in?
Of course, you can do anything you want because we're just giving a blank canvas. So it's your home. Like whatever you want to do, most especially after we deliver, before we deliver, it's up to you. Because we're just building the building blocks, no? So if you want to turn it into, let's say, a school, you can. If you want to turn it into a cafe, you can. It's not necessarily limited to a home. It's the structure itself that makes it like with one system, limitless yung possibilities.
Let me go back to you were saying a lot is wasted if you do the traditional way of construction. What about in your case? What do you do with your waste materials, with your excess?
So we actually repurpose it. We also have our line which is called Kawayan, Kawayan Architectural Products. So this is where we also sell our bamboo materials as well as our other materials like furniture. We've made knife boxes. We've made other kinds of furniture.
From excess.
From excess. So actually a lot of the furniture in our homes are made out of cutouts for the house structure. So it's always repurposed, but definitely not 100%. So we're looking into ways that we could make it even more circular.
Well, Zahra, given how expensive home ownership is now in the Philippines, would you say you're also solving that problem for
Right.
Filipinos?
Of course. So the vision of CUBO is really to solve the affordable housing crisis. No, syempre there would be others who would say, "Oh, it's still cheaper to buy a house and not by this developer." Or so it's still a learning curve for us, most especially that we're a startup. So we're trying to understand how we can bring down the cost so that at the end of the day, the homeowner can afford it. That's why we're working with more, and we're looking for more financing partners to eventually break it down, because we don't want to cut the cost and then cut the quality and then say, I've built a cheap house that you can afford. We want to make sure it's dignified and that people can live in it and they can be proud of it.
Ito yung smallest.
No, this is...
Hindi pa yan ang smallest?
No,
Di mas maliit pa dyan?
the smallest one can actually fit in the studio. So I was looking at it a while ago and it can definitely fit.
Next time, when we have you guests, bring a house.
We'll be doing the show inside.
Yeah,
How many square meters is the tiniest? No, just to give us hope that
Okay.
maybe we can also have our own house one
Definitely.
day.
So our 15 square meter, which is our Sulu model, it's actually showing right now. We have a pop-up in White Plains, Quezon City, until June 15. So we actually bring it around with our pickup, our CUBO pickup. We bring it around Metro Manila, and hopefully soon that we'll bring it outside to nearby cities as well.
And that's, you said, 500,000?
599 for the house kit, and then the delivery and installation will depend on the location.
And if you buy two, may discount.
Yes, of course. Lalo na sa'yo. Of course. So if you buy two, it's last 90,000. So that's already a big discount.
Pwede mo nang pagdikitin na lang.
Yes. So yung maganda is when you like one certain product, and because let's say you want to spend how many millions for a big house, why don't you have, let's say, one for your public space, one for your private space? Or usually we have OFWs. So OFWs, syempre, when they come home, they want to have a place that doesn't necessarily have to be so big, no? Kasi they're just gonna stay there for a few days or weeks. So they have one for themselves, and then the rest is for their family. So it can be mixed and matched.
Or pwedeng parentahan, or...
Yes. While they're not there, diba? Can be.
What about customization? I saw your site and sabi pwede daw. And you guys can work. But just how far-reaching, let's say, sobrang imaginative ng
Yes.
client. How far can you go with a prefab kind of modular setup?
Definitely. So for us, we've actually made like a menu. It's like you're selecting in a restaurant. So that's what one of our clients said yesterday na, you guys made it so easy for me to choose because we believe it's a home. So it shouldn't look like it was made in a factory, diba? So it should still look like it's yours and it was made really for your family and your personal taste. So we have a set of options in terms of like color, materials where you can choose from. But if you're still not satisfied with that level of customization, we can also do a custom design service. So if you, I don't know if you saw some photos, yeah, we definitely customize. Most especially, we have accessibility customizations as well. Wheelchair accessible, elderly accessibility. So that one is all available.
And how quick is the lead time?
For us right now, if you order it 1 to 3 months, that's how fast it is. But actual installation, for example, this Sarangani only takes us 2 weeks to install. Comparing that to traditional construction na 6 months to 12 months, you know, you're still waiting for your house.
Or
to
not
be ready.
even longer than that.
Even longer. So, yun, correct.
What's the future looking like? What
Wow.
are your plans?
So the future's, I think, very interesting because we're looking, you know, we started as a company that wanted to build better homes. But right now, we feel that we're at a scale to build better communities. So we're working with developers such as SMDS Realty, which is based in Pililla, Rizal, where about 20 hectares of their development, we are now offering house and lot options for potential customers. So yeah.
And if I'm modern and I want it to be a smart home, I want to put solar panels up there, a cistern, can you add all of these features as well?
So we actually have preset add-ons as well. So that's part of our menu of options. Yeah.
Tapos makikita mo how much na lang.
Yes, exactly.
Like pwedeng yung lights can be controlled from
Yun yung smart.
remote.
We realize that the market sometimes is not so, they're not yet in that level. We actually offered before, but we phased it out because we had a lot of elderly. So they were like, I don't want
Baka you're
anything.
just ahead of your time.
Yeah, so we even had like, you know, different kinds of features, but definitely what the market wants, that's how we also adapt. So again, what I mentioned is we give the canvas and then it's up to you how you want. You want to put wallpaper, you want to put pink walls, it's up to you because we're just giving the blank canvas.
And how about pag may bagyo? I mean, some people might think, nako, prefab, baka lipa rin ng bagyo.
Yes.
Or, you know, there's that kind of
Meron
That's
na
a
ba
good
nalipad
question.
ng bagyo?
Definitely not. So if you notice, last year we had how many typhoons in the span of 1 month? And that was actually our prime location in CUBO. So that was in the Cavite area, Batangas area. We have a number of CUBOs there. We called our homeowners. There was also a 6.5 magnitude earthquake.
Yeah.
And we had one customer, senior citizen, no, who was living in the location where the epicenter was. And we called her up right
Of Taal.
after. Yes, we called her up right after. We said, "Hi, what happened? Are you okay?" She said, "I was completely happy by my balcony, while my relatives in Makati were freaking out because of the building like swaying. But me, I was completely safe and I felt completely."
And the
Kasi
house.
light materials are actually good eh.
Yeah.
Parang we don't feel safe kung hindi parang
Yung katok.
concrete.
Yes.
Oo.
So yun lang yung siguro perception that we're also trying to change na porket kinatok mo and it's not concrete, it's not safe. So for us, it's up to 250 km/h winds. So that's very strong. And in terms of the longevity, we also give 15-year structural warranty.
Wait, may isa pang misconception na baka sobrang init kasi hindi siya buhos. Di ba may ganong conception din kasi? So
that's
what
a
can you
good
say?
question.
Yeah.
For bamboo, it's actually a natural insulator. It's 14 degrees colder inside a kubo as compared
Bamboo
to
is the
outside.
best material.
14 degrees?
Because of bamboo. So it can also, syempre, again, depending on the location per yan, no? So we also offer mga added insulation for depending on the use.
But let me get back to the 40%, almost 40% contribution of greenhouse gases
Yes.
by the construction industry. How much have you lessened? Do you have a figure because of your processes, what you do?
Definitely. So because we're using, actually, I'm just going to talk about the materials. So I'm not even going to talk about what we've saved because of doing off-site construction. But because we've used bamboo, we've saved about 200 tons or sequestered 200 tons of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. And that's just sequestering. That's not even talking about the carbon dioxide we would have emitted if we used traditional construction. So just by
200
building,
tons.
yes, 200 tons of carbon dioxide, estimate.
Just by using bamboo as your main material. And then I see also is bakal. Are those like
The black ones, that's actually bamboo as well.
No, these
which
ones
one?
right now, like there's like a
The cladding.
Yeah, the cladding.
So the cladding, of course, as I mentioned, like we mix materials based on customer feedback and the durability. So we have a team of engineers and designers.
Wait, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I wanted to see kung yun yung small, ayun na, nagbago na.
Nagbago na. Visit us na lang in White Plains. We're also going to be in the Sustainability Solutions Exchange by CITEM DTI in World Trade. Yeah, World Trade.
Sorry,
Pero
did I
wait.
interrupt your
It's okay.
answer?
No, I
No, I
actually
want to know
lost my
where
thought.
is the White Plains one? So in case people want to go,
Yes,
it's
yes,
like-
invite
Yeah.
everyone.
I'm curious. I want to see it.
So you're all welcome to visit our pop-up in White Plains, Quezon City. That's for our Sulu model. But honestly, it's with a pickup. We'll be going around Metro Manila.
Teka, ang laki ng White Plains, saan doon?
White Plains Avenue.
Along the main avenue.
Yeah, so it's by the restaurant, and you'll just
Yeah.
you'll know
By
it's
the
us when-
restaurant.
You'll know
Is
it's
it near
us.
the Halo-Halo place with the giant gravel parking
exactly.
lot? That's what I was thinking.
Exactly.
Dun lang yata siya
Or you can
pwede.
visit us in the Sustainability Solutions Exchange as well in
Which
World
is-
Trade. November 22 to November 24. Sorry, May 22.
What? November pa?
Sorry, May 22 to May 20.
You achieve all this and being only, how old are you? How young are you?
Wow, age reveal.
Sorry. Sige, your young age.
Oh, she was like 30 under 30.
Year,
siya.
so it's my last
She's
year.
29.
I'm 29 years
Wala
old.
pa siyang 30.
So, syempre, I learned it from my family, what else, from my friends, and syempre, mga people who paved the way before us. So, women in construction, ano pa ba? Everyone. Like, I'm really just inspired
So
to build
your
great
background,
things.
your family is into construction.
Yes,
Is that how
construction
you got
materials.
into that?
Yeah. Kasi
So don't you argue with your parents like, no, my way is better?
I know. I mean, I think it's always about finding what will improve the industry in general. So I'm not necessarily competing with anyone. I'm not saying that, oh, all concrete is bad and we must change the way we build. I think it's just a matter of there's a demand for housing and there's a housing shortage, not just in the Philippines, but in the whole world. So how are we going to solve that? We can't use yesterday's solution for tomorrow's problem. Right?
That was
Very
so
well
well
said.
said.
So well said. I was gonna ask for
Speechless
your
ako.
parting shot, but that will have to be it. Thank you so much,
Thank
Zahra
you.
Zanjani, CEO and founder of CUBO Modular.